Joining me now is Terry Lynch, the CEO of Power Nickel. Great to see you again.
Great to see you, Mark.
Now, we saw each other in New York several months ago in the springtime, and you promised a steady news flow, and you've delivered. Before we get to that, though, just for those who may not be familiar, remind us about the high-grade NISC program that you have in Quebec.
Yeah, so NISC is located sort of south and east of James Bay, close to the town of Nemaska, about the center of Quebec. And we've got a high-grade nickel sulfide discovery there that we're advancing towards ultimately a production decision.
All right, short and sweet. Now, you've been drilling, you've been releasing results, you've intercepted massive and semi-massive sulfides. And so what would you say is taking shape in terms of identifying what you hope is like a robust river of nickel?
Yeah, I mean, we're obviously going to be putting out our inaugural 43-101 in just a few weeks. And that should show us as a commercial deposit. So I would define that as being sort of 8 to 10 million tons of, at least 100,000 contained tons of nickel. So we expect we'd have that. And that's just going to be the start. NISC is going to be not a small nickel mine in our view. We think there's going to be multiple pods, and there could be something special happening deep. So this is going to be a big one.
When the resource update comes out, would investors not be surprised, but may they see the number say 11 or 12 million as opposed to 8 to 10?
It's possible because obviously it's an independent geo that does this. So I don't even know myself. So we think that upside is there possibly. It really depends upon what he includes in and what he doesn't include in their assumptions, etc. But we felt comfortable with 8 to 10. I think the main pod on NISC will ultimately grow to being 12 to 14 million tons. That's my understanding of the geology right now. And we think we've got potentially, at least another 2, maybe 3 pods like that we've identified, the same signature that was the NISC main. And then we think we're open at depth. And generally speaking, if you look at, Raglan or Voisey's Bay or Norilsk, it's all happening deeper, 500 to 1,500 meters. We're right now from surface to 500 meters.
Now, you've done a few financings. They're usually of the creative sort. You did one with CVMR Investments. They're going to fund and coordinate the feasibility study. So can you sort of elaborate on how and why you're making these types of deals?
Yeah, we just finished one right now with one of your guest speakers today, Rob McEwen. Was thanks God he came up and my family invested as well. And we basically we invested using the critical minerals tax structures that are available in Quebec and the exploration advances that are available there. So you're able to get pretty much 2 for 1. So we ended up doing the deal at 50 cents with a half warrant at 50. And then it was bought back sort of the next second for 25 cents by Rob and by my family. So that obviously gets the company more cash, less dilution for the shareholders. So that's a good thing. And it's using the structures that the federal and provincial governments have put in place to inspire people to find critical minerals and hopefully critical mineral mines.
Something else you're doing, Terry, is looking at your non-core assets and planning to spin out the BC and Chilean gold assets. You have a copper royalty up for sale. What's the thinking there?
Again, we want people to focus on Power Nickel for its nickel assets, and we don't want to be diluting to grow our copper gold assets. That's what we'll do with the spin out. We'll separately finance that. That'll be a accretive bonus for our shareholders. And for the royalty, while we really believe in the royalty, I think it could be a lucrative position to hold in the long term. In the short term, we're selling NISC to keep the royalty. So to us, it makes sense to try and cash in on that royalty now, reinvest that money in NISC, where we are quite comfortable that that's going to be a massive return for us.
Lastly, you just dropped the Rob McEwen name, and that'll get investors' attention. Yep. How else do you get investors' attention in a world where the market's a little depressed here and there, and investors have so many choices? What's your pitch to investors?
The pitch to investors is pretty simple. We're the best nickel deal on the planet, period. Okay, so that's a bold claim.
That'll sell.
That's a bold claim, but we can back it up with math. When you're an investor in this environment, you need to be looking for asymmetric investments. So you're going to be risking, something small, but your upside is 10, 100x. That's what you should be looking for in this market. That's what Power Nickel has, we believe. And so that's what we're confident to go out there and speak to.
All right, bold statement. Very good. Okay, thanks, Terry. Good stuff. Terry Lynch, CEO of Power Nickel.